obviously his sacrifice moving from quarterback to linebacker, and then in the pros, uh, he was one of those guys that last week of the preseason they play the guys that probably aren't going to make the team. Oh, he made the team the last week of the preseason, playing for Dallas. I mean, he was against the Vikings. I think was that game. I think, and I mean, he had like double digit tackles and was like a defensive dynamo and made it in the NFL. And like I said, he's got a Super Bowl ring from Pittsburgh, and Dewan's got a Super Bowl ring from New Orleans. Dewan joins us now. How are you, man? It's a long time.
I'm doing amazing.
I can tell. Not only that, I went to the Ultimate Athlete Boot Camp website, and dude, you look like you could play. You and your partner. I'd draft both you dudes.
Oh yeah. We try to stay in some pretty good shape. That's the only way. You got to look the part.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, you guys walk out the street and people say, "I think I'm going to that gym. I think they got something going there." But I tuned in. I'm a member of the Alumni Association, and they put that deal out, and I signed up for it and watched it. And of course, I love to talk about Mama Woods because I mean that's you and your mom and dad were staples. Whether it was at the middle of a Millwood game in the stands over there on the west side of the stadium there, Falcon Stadium, Millwood, or you could always spot them up in the stands at Boone Pickens Stadium watching all of their sons. But that was a good presentation, and the best thing about it was it taught me a lot about what Dewan Woods has been doing. You got a little bit out of shape. You got frustrated with yourself and said, look, I'm going to get back in shape. And guess what? I'm going to make a big-time business out of this. WoodFit, LLC, now Ultimate Athlete Boot Camp. Tell folks about all this. This is pretty good stuff.
Well, first I want to, kind of talk about the story and how I got there. With the New Orleans Saints in 2009, I had a career-ending spinal cord injury. So at that point,
right.
After losing my career and finding myself in a bad position as far as my health, with now a structural misalignment and an injury that is now going to change the way that I move. It's going to change everything about my life as I knew it. I put on a lot of weight coming out of that. Part ways of depression and trying to make that transition, now being back in Oklahoma with a spinal cord injury. I'm putting on weight. And, I'm just back in a situation where you either have to put it on the line and figure out what it is that you want to do and then go after it, or you let it consume you and you wallow in it and you let it define you. So I set out to get in shape. And I knew how to train for football, but I wasn't very knowledgeable on how to change my body composition, how to change my aesthetic. So I needed to go research and figure out how to do that. So not only can I train and to be more athletic, more explosive, etc., but I also can properly eat the foods that I need to in order to look a certain way. And hey, I was the first guinea pig as that in that term. But I also had to work around a spinal cord injury that was hindering movement as I knew it.
Right.
So I had to get smarter on that aspect as well, too. So it wasn't just about football and coaching kids or coaching the players that I coach as far as being, great athletes on the field, but also going in and finding those little delicate intangibles that don't allow them to reach their full potential. And so those are the difference between great athletes and good athletes. Good athletes will get injured. They'll have a non-contact injury because they're not they're not running correctly, or they have muscle imbalances. Being able to identify those not only helped me regain my health and what movement I've been able to retain, but also all the athletes that I train, starting from, I got kids 8, 9 years old, all the way up to guys who want to play in the NFL. So, and not only that, I'm training my normal everyday individuals like athletes as well too, because throughout this process of overcoming this adversity with my spinal cord and having these issues with my health, I had to be able to still try and maintain the quality of life that I was used to without letting the spinal cord injury take over and completely sit me down.
How is the spinal cord injury now? I mean, have you basically trained yourself, rehabbed yourself, and moved yourself past that, or is it still something you've got to deal with on a regular basis?
This is a lifelong trip.
Okay.
Back when I had the injury, during that time, the failure rating on the spinal surgery that I would need was about 75%, which was not, I don't like those odds.
No, they don't sound good.
Absolutely not. So after doing more research about my different options, I understood that, hey, if this body, which is my ultimate gift, can heal itself, it's self-sufficient, self-sustaining, then I should be able to micromanage this if I get smarter. And so every single day I wake up, I'm in some sort of discomfort or pain. And if I don't stay on top of it, it's crippling. But if I'm detailed and I develop good habits and I do my correctional exercises in the morning, then I can still go out there and move around a little bit, or be able to build an aesthetic to where somebody will look at me and say, man, what team you play for?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm 36. That was a couple of lifetimes ago, but I appreciate the compliment.
Well, and
go ahead.
No, you go ahead and finish. I'll jump in when you're done.
And to be able to give that gift to other individuals who want to get in shape. Hey, listen, it's about being an athlete. I never stopped being an athlete. The injury that I suffered, it took me off a path, or it redirected me. But that wasn't my will. That was the Lord's will. So it put me in a position to help other people who might want to take their life back as well too. Whether it's losing some weight, putting on some muscle, never losing that athlete's mindset is what pulled me through, with the help of the Lord, of course, to get me to this, to the position to where I can help other people do the same things and have a roadmap, have a formula, be able to instill the principles of being an athlete. And we talk about ultimate athlete. And I don't want to say, I want to be able to distinguish the two. So when we say athlete, by definition, I say it all the time, it's a person who is proficient in sports and physical activity. An ultimate athlete is the individual with the ability to identify, assess, process, and overcome adversity. If you're not in it right now, just keep living. It's on its way. How you handle it, how you're able to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually attack it will determine the quality of life that you live. And that applies to everything. We talk about the Super Bowl ring that I don't have, by the way, Robert. Owner's discretion was what they told me after I injured my spine. They made me stay up there all year. And then the week of the Super Bowl, the week before the Super Bowl, they flew me home. And they told me owner's discretion.
Huh.
So, when I went back to the 10-year anniversary that they invited me back to, not to see my name on the banner, things like that. They never, those type feelings never die. But hey, every single day in my life today, whether it's through a client, achieving the goals that they set out with me, an athlete, improving their speed, quickness, lateral movement, balance, in order to take them to the next level, it has become my Super Bowl. Yeah. So if I can wake up every single day and find my Super Bowl, find my game day, then I'm an athlete through and through, and I'll attack it with that mentality, with that mindset.
Well, and that's good. And I'll tell you what I congratulate you on as much as anything. And I know you talked about that, you gained weight, you got out of shape after the injury. But I'll tell you the saving grace is so many times I've seen, throughout my life. I mean, I was out there yesterday shoveling driveways, snow off driveways, and I was feeling, I was trying to do it athletically. I was trying to be an athlete as a shoveler. But here's the deal. I've seen so many people in your position with injury as devastating as yours, and it isn't overeating. It isn't getting out of shape. I've seen way too many people go the way of painkillers. And I thank God that was not a temptation for you, or it was a temptation you fought off and dealt with, Robert. Because, yeah.
7 years. I was going to leave that out since you mentioned it. One of the first things the team did was give me pain medication to micromanage. The first time it was introduced into my life. And it had me for 7 years. But once again, that's just another form of adversity that I had to overcome. Wow. That needed to be overcame. So I attack it like an athlete, identify it. The ultimate athlete, identify it. The one, you have an opioid addiction. You're taking these pills, yeah, your spine's hurt, you're in pain. But this is now affecting your quality of life worse than the injury itself. It's changing you. It's making you dependent. So identify it, assess it. What do I need to do? What is it doing to me? Process it. Understand what it is that I need to do to overcome it. And then overcoming is the last part. If you attack it, then you can overcome it. And it had me for 7 good years. My dad used to always say, it'll take you places you don't want to go and keep you longer than you want to stay.
Yeah.
But through the grace of God, I was able to overcome that, and also help others in the process.
Well,
without my morning routine.
And that's what I wanted to get to as well, is you've turned what was a negative that you had to fight through and overcome into a huge positive. And I think I know exactly. If you guys are in the Frisco Commons Park, I know where that is. I've been to Frisco quite a bit lately. What a growing, unbelievable community that you guys have set your business up in with plenty of people that can use your help. So you guys are in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing out here, and there are a lot of individuals who are looking for what it is that we offer, and we're glad to be able to share it with them. We understand it's a little unorthodox. Some people don't want to go back to their playing days. They don't want to be game ready. But, some do. And a lot of times it's mental. A lot of times all it takes is that mindset shift. They have to remember, hey, you're still an athlete. You out there shoveling snow, trying to get lateral out there with it. But, you got to have something in the tank. we love to be able to give that to individuals, and we go from kids all the way up. I mean, our oldest client is in their 70s. So
Cool.
I mean, if it's in you, it's in you. I've always said that even when I'm old, I'm gonna be the old man in the wheelchair, still talking cash to the young birds, trying to race them up and down the street.
Well, not only that, I always felt, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert on the Woods brothers, but I followed all you guys, and like I said, I know your older brother Gary really well, and I always felt that you and Gary were the more edgy guys. That if I was gonna bring some guys not only that could get it done on the field, but also talk it a little more. I always thought you and Gary were had a one up on that, maybe a little bit on Rashawn and Donovan.
Well, I mean, I guess we like to talk.
Hey, I like it. So, well, and that's the other thing is I think what you're doing is not only good for people's physical well-being, but a lot of what the Ultimate Athlete Boot Camp is doing is also mental too. And in this time with the pandemic, heck, with this winter weather, you guys are having it down there at Frisco. This is the kind of thing that can derail you a little bit mentally, depress you a little bit. And it looks like what you guys do at the boot camp, you treat that as well as the physical.
Absolutely. It's all about mindset. And I talk about the 3 P's, and I tell my athletes this all the time. You have perception, projection, and proprioception. So we got perception. We all know that. Man, you can sit side by side, watch a movie, and see different parts and different things in that movie. Just our perception is different. And then we have our projection. Based off what we see is what we perceive or put out towards the world, based on what we perceive. And then there's the proprioception, which is where you actually fit in, unknown to you, but where you actually fit in the positions and in the things that you do. So if you're attacking a workout mentally and you're going in with purpose and a plan, then you should be able to execute it. Just like X's and O's in the playbook. Okay? It's knowing what you have to do and then executing it. And some people allow excuses and any forms of other adversity stop them from doing the things that they ultimately know they need to do. And it's working out. Most of the time, no one likes to run. No one likes to train and be tired. No one really likes that. Some people love it. I love it. I understand that I'm growing. And, a lot of people don't like to subject themselves to that. But if they have that mindset shift and they start to attack it, then they'll find that it becomes easy once again. And it's a lot easier to micromanage. But coming in and getting out of all the excuses, it's cold, it's raining. If you can't get through a 1-hour workout with a little adversity, then it'll keep you at the house, and you'll find any excuse, Robert, to not follow through on something else that's even more important than a simple workout.
Nah, I'm with you.
Time and time again, we see our athletes come in, and we call them athletes. We call you guys athletes out there that's listening. You guys are clients, but you are athletes. We treat you as such. We demand things from you as such. We set a bar. And then you overcome that bar, and then we set it a little higher. All while pushing you to be the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah, we're going to have to catch up again sometime because there's a lot more I want to get to, and we got to get to a break. And I know you've got other things you need to do, but hey, DeJuan, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're doing well. And now I know next time I'm in Frisco, which may be later this spring, I hope, going to try and come by and make it down there and make it to the Ultimate Athlete Boot Camp and check it out. But I appreciate it.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
if you
gonna stop
run
you
in,
right there, Robert, one time because you said you was going to try, and trying, you're going to try. I need to see you out here whenever you come. Let's make it happen. You guys are listening out there right now. I'm going to have the footage, so he's going to have to be able to do a little bragging, or he wasn't shoveling that snow as athletic as he thought he was. But we're going to see. And I can't wait to see to have you out here.
Yeah, my next goal is to make it to the Y since it's open again this afternoon. So I'm heading that way at 1 o'clock. But, hey, if you run in, hey, one of your fellow alums, Tylen Wallace, I know, is down in Frisco training. If you run into, another former Cowboy receiver, say hello to him. And again, congratulations on all you're doing. And we're going to do this again because I want to get back into talking a little, some memories and get into that. But I am so proud of what you're doing and enjoyed watching that on the Alumni Association's presentation and enjoyed having you today.
Well, I really appreciate you as well. It's truly humbling to be able to get on here and talk a little bit on the radio. I thank you so much for the opportunity. And I just want to say for you guys who are listening, if you want to tap in with me and get into some of the best shape of your life, get a little mental toughness. You got kids out there, you want to be a little mentally tough, and also improve in their overall athleticism. And let's make them faster, change the direction. And you guys can tap in with me at www.woodsfit.com. And Woodsfit is all of my social media handles as well, too. Send me a DM. Reach out to me if you guys are listening. And let's see if we can't get you in some shape and get you guys mentally, physically, and emotionally a little bit stronger.
Hey, DeJuan, I appreciate it. All right?
All right, thanks so much, Robert.
All right, DeJuan Woods. We got to get to a break.